afternoon. As promised, I said I would be creating a complete flow sheet to help you as a BTech student be able to navigate better through CoCo. So the reason it took so long, or the first excuse I can give why it took so long, is I was looking for a process where I could try and look, I could try and show the different aspects of the flow sheet. So starting with setting up the, what do you call this? Setting up the feed streams to additionally the feed preparation, the reactor, and possibly downstream something like absorption or something like that. So I was actually looking for a process which would be able to summarize all of this, especially within the reactor, setting up reactions, because most of the problems that you're going to get at BTech level is not going to be one reaction. There's probably going to be some side reactions and things like that. So I was looking for an example that would have selectivity, that would have different conversions of different reactants within the reactor. And luckily, something took me back to my years in design, the experience that I had. And I figured the one process that I've got the most experience in is Fisher tops. And that's because I worked for 5 years. This is something that I did day in, day out. So it was easy for me to create an example, a hypothetical example from that process, because I understand how selectivity works within that process. I understand the reaction, and so it was quite easy for me to develop this example for you. So let's get started. First things first, I want to look at the preliminary mass balance that I did before even doing the simulation. So if you go even a simple Google search on Wikipedia, you will get this reaction that I've just highlighted here. Now, this reaction basically is your FT reaction in its generic form. So what then happens is N represents a number between 10 and 20 for the FT process. So usually from 10 and 20, where an N number of 20 will create C20H44 alkene. So what you then do is, for, let's say you want to go from carbon number 1 up to carbon number 20, carbon number being on the alkene, you'll go, as I've set up the table here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to 20. And then what you do is where you find an N, you substitute with the carbon number. So for example here, 2N plus 1 will give you 3 hydrogens plus 1 carbon monoxide. That will give you methane plus water. And then you go on, if you go 2, you'll get 5 hydrogens, 2 carbon monoxides, and then you'll get C2H6 plus 2 waters. You go on like this up until you get where you want to go. So for this example, I thought let's keep it light, in the mood of being light. So I went up to C10, which would be more of your light alkenes. These would be, if you're looking at your complete FT reaction, which would go up to your C40s and stuff like that, these would be your light cut, and they'll probably go up with your gas stream. And if I'm not mistaken, they'll probably be used for fuel. You would burn this to create fuel and heat up the process. Interesting processes to look at to better understand things like this would be the IGCC process and things like that. But I don't want to go into those details now. I just wanted to find something that would be easy to set up, and hopefully because of my understanding of the process, I'll be able to take you through the simulation better. And having 10 reactions is the ultimate nightmare. So hopefully once you see how easy it is to work with 10 reactions, you will be able to work with 2 or 3 reactions. So then what I did was I randomly selected selectivity values. I said your methane reaction would have a selectivity of 5%, with the higher selectivity given to your end-decay reaction, which would be 15%. These are selected randomly. But then your conversion that was calculated. So I said the overall conversion for the reaction is 55%. Again, this was just thumbs up. It can be 90%, it can be 60%, whatever the case is. And then what you then do is now to calculate your conversion under normal circumstances, right? What you would say is if I've got maybe 100 moles of carbon monoxide and the conversion is 55%, right? The amount of methane produced, right, would be what? Would be the amount of methane, the amount of carbon monoxide reacted, right? Or yeah, it will be you calculate it by the amount of carbon monoxide reacted, right? Because 1:1 in this case, yeah. And then what you would then do is you would simply multiply that amount which you would get from the conversion by 5%. You would multiply the number of moles, right, that reacted, right? The total number of moles that reacted of the carbon monoxide multiplied by the selectivity. So that's exactly what I did for all of this. I basically said you take the conversion and you will multiply it by the selectivity. Then this will then give you your conversion for each of these reactions. Anyone watching this who might have picked up an error in this, please start out. I'm a bit concerned. I might have had to consider the stoichiometric coefficient of the carbon monoxide component of each reaction, but I do not think that's absolutely necessary. But anyways, this is an open platform. Anyone with a comment on that, please get back to us. We learn every day, so that's something that I picked up might need to be checked. But anyways, then I computed the conversion for all reactions, starting from your methane reaction to your end-decay reaction. And then what I did for the purposes of calculations down the line, I then added up all the reactions to give me the overall reaction stoichiometry, which would be 120 hydrogen plus 55 COs gives me 10 alkenes and then 55 waters. This is to have just one overall reaction, giving us the stoichiometry. Then we then came to our feed conditions. I then selected a value of 0.24 kilomoles per second for the hydrogen. So this is something you would get from literature, and then, or not from literature, but this is something you would get. Your lecturer would say, for example, your reaction, your feed is 0.24 moles of hydrogen, or in other cases, they would have given you the product and you would have to work backwards. And the mass balance example that we showed you on reaction stoichiometry and things like that should be able to assist you to go into those details. Again, I do not expect everyone to be 100% on par with where we are now. So should any of these principles that we're discussing now be still be an issue for you, please feel free to send me an email at lungile@swakamtraining.co.za. There it is highlighted in blue there. Please, don't be left behind. Try to keep up, and the best way to keep up is to sign up for our private tutoring. In that way, I'll be able to deal with your issues personally and assist you be on track with other students. Then what we then did here was we said your carbon monoxide would then be your 0.24, which is your hydrogen, multiplied by CO, which is the stoichiometric coefficient of CO, divided by 120. So 0.11 is your stoichiometric amount, stoichiometric number of moles that are required of carbon monoxide for the reaction. The rest, I just then assume that everything is coming at 25 degrees, and it's at a pressure of 1 bar. Reaction conditions, your Wikipedia will tell you that the reaction happens between 150 degrees and 300 and something degrees. I just went for 285 degrees. and to convert this to Kelvin, that gives us 583. So this, everything is almost set up. Under usual circumstances, you'd have to back calculate your mass balance. But the point is, in order to actually do the simulation, you need to know your feed conditions. So I hope we're ready and excited to set up our complete flow sheet. Go back to the first episode, second episode. Should you be still having a challenge with mass balances? If you do, please do not hesitate to contact me. Next, we're going to start with our simulation. So what do we have? We have hydrogen. That's part of the input. Hydrogen and carbon monoxide reacting to form your various alkenes plus water. So before we start, I'd like to show you that I've done my homework. I've already done this simulation. I've already done the simulation so that I do not waste a lot of time during this example. So in this stream, I've got hydrogen. In the other one, I've got carbon monoxide. They are then compressed to 3 bar. As I said, they come in at 1 bar, compressed into 3 bar. We mix them. We heat them up to reaction temperature, which is the 583.15. We then use a fixed conversion reactor, which is fully specified in this example. And then what I then did was I sent it through a flash drum, to see what would happen if we dropped the temperature from 583 Kelvin to 320 Kelvin. We dropped the temperature to see what kind of product would come out from the bottom of that flash drum. We then took the product of that flash drum, put that inside another flash drum and dropped the temperature to 298 Kelvin, that's room temperature. So what would happen? And then you had your product from there. I then took everything, put it in an absorption column, and with this particular absorption column, I then put in water. I had done one example where it was water and another example where it was C20. I think it's called icosane or something like that. Icosane, what is it called? N-acosane. Yeah, N-acosane. So I was just trying to see what would happen with that absorption situation. And then we would then mix the two and see what kind of product we'd get after mixing. So this is what I was playing around with. But then before we come to this, I just want to show you how to set up everything and up until the point where you can get what you see here. We are going to run through some of this quickly. As you can see, we have 10 reactions. It would be quite strenuous to try and add in all 10 reactions. For this example, I'm probably going to just add 3 just to show you how everything runs. And then should you wish, I'll send you the complete flow sheet here as an example, so that if you want to go through each process unit and what I've added here, you are able to do so. So let's get started. First things first, we need to define our property model, or we need to add in our property model, and we need to add in our components. All right. So add. I hope you remember this from our first lesson. We're going to use TA. Going to use TA. As you can see, your CoCo already has alkenes, but we're going to use our own because we like using our own. And then let's call this example 2020-06-16. And then let's call it June 16 youth simulation. Why not? And then we're going to use the Pell-Robinson property model. As I said, I'm only going to add the first few compounds. So I'm going to add CH4, which is your methane. Right, I'm going to add C2H6, which is ethane. And then I'm going to add C3H8, if I'm not mistaken, which is your propane. Let's add water, H2O. Water, the hydrogen oxide. Let's add carbon monoxide, and let's add hydrogen. We're gonna go okay. Yes, we want to assign it to our strings. Then we're going to start with your input stream of hydrogen. Again, you click on the stream, one click, and then drop it. And then let's compress our stream. As we said, our streams are coming in at 1 bar. So let's compress our steam, pumps and compressors. There's your compressor right there. You can't stop me now because I'm not doing this live. However, please feel free to send me questions, and as I said, you can sign up to our online tutoring program where we now have 2 additional members in our team to assist you with any challenges you might have. There's the second compressor. Okay. And then now we're going to run that into a mixer. Excuse me, I'm a bit fluid today, so it's one of those days. It's very cold in Miami today, which is very rare. It's usually hot here, but what can we do? Cold front. We send that into a compressor. By the way, your usual compressor icon has two strings, an inlet one and inlet two, but you can add as many as you want. You basically double click on it, and then you say edit, and it will show you add inlet. So you can add as many as you want there. And then we said we're gonna heat everything up to reaction temperature. So let's have a heater. By the way, I'm just going to do a simple setup here, but usually for reactions where you're working at high temperatures, what you want to do is you want to use up the heat that is left over in the product stream. So you do a product feed heat exchange system, which will allow you to do that. Now we have our fixed conversion reactor. Again, let me know if you're not sure how we got that icon. We connect to that. Next, let's set up. In this case, I just want to have one flash drum. Again, to keep true to our example. So let's have a separator there, flash. Okay. And then your reactor product after cooling, of course. Now let's have a super cooler, which is gonna take us straight from your reaction temperature down to room temperature. So get that, and that is gonna take us right to room temperature. So let's connect our unit ops. There we go. And what we'll do is we'll have one stream that we're gonna consider as our first cut. Gonna be a liquid stream. That one. Gonna consider that as our first cut. Um, but we're going to take the vapor stream coming from that, and we're going to mix that with, we're gonna put in water or something. Or maybe let's not use water. Let's just say we're using that stream, the top stream, we're using it to, I don't know, change something in. I'm trying to think of a real life scenario where you would have this this um, this gaseous stream being mixed with something else. As I said, it's this kind of stream, this kind of light will usually be you'll get as much as you can get from them, but ultimately they will end up being used as fuel gas or something like that. But in our hypothetical situation, let's use it as a feed, where as a feed to a mixing that we're going to mix it with maybe that icocosaine I spoke about, and that makes the icocosaine more fuel-like or something. I don't know what we call it, but the point is, in your normal FT process, you have long chain hydrocarbons, but in this case, as you saw, we're only going up to C10. But then, yeah, we'll take the stream and mix it with, let's mix it with a higher carbon number alkane. So we're going to use a simple absorber. So as you saw, let's go back to that. I think I went through that quite quickly. So we right click on that icon, we say edit unit operation. Once you say edit unit operation, it will bring up this small icon that you see now, a small table. It should also open concept because as you saw, we chose the concept option. When you click down, the simple absorber is stripper. So that's 20. We said we are going to be working at about 3 bar. So let's just put that at 3 bar, which is 300,000 newtons per meter cube. Okay. And then it will open up it will immediately open up your concept interface where we will have specified further. So let's just give that a second to come in. I hope everyone is still on track. Again, hopefully with this kind of push that we're giving you here with these videos and the fact that we are here to help, you will have your why in terms of, why should you get started, because you'll no longer be struggling alone. There's someone to help you through everything. So this will then open your concept interface where you then have to go through and check that everything is specified. Obviously, you won't have any components because you haven't stuck anything on the system yet, but already it knows that you've got in your system, you've got methane, ethane, propane, water, carbon monoxide, and hydrogen. Operation, we have 2 feeds. We're going to have the one where we're going to be mixing. For now, let's mix with water. Let's mix with water. Let's not make it too fancy. And as next type of simulation, like doing a flash or an equilibrium column. We're doing an equilibrium column. Reaction, no reaction. Feed, it's going to connect itself. Pressures, let's use the inlet pressure and let's keep it constant. Efficiency, you can assume 75% efficiency. Nothing in the world is 100% efficient, right? And then we close that, and then this should take us back to our CoCo interface, coffee interface. And then yes, we want to update the icon, and then it looks more familiar now. It's a simple absorption column. Then if you click on the string, your gas on absorption column is fed at the bottom. So let's call that. Usually your bottom stage is your cycle speed 2, stage 20, right? And then as you said, let's mix this with water. Let's mix this with water just to be simple, simplistic. And again, you have to make sure you have your outlet stream, and that's your top product. And then let's also have our bottom product. So there we go. We have a nice illustration here, I hope. We've got almost everything. We've got compressors, we've got mixers, we've got heaters, we've got a reactor, we've got a flash drum, and we've got an absorption column. So I hope this combined flow sheet will help shed some light into your design project. Right. So let's get started. So in our example here, we had a hydrogen flow rate of 0.24 kilomoles per second. So that's what I'm going to use here. So we can rename this stream. So by double clicking as you see to highlight the one, let's rename that to hydrogen, so that we have a visual confirmation of what it is, and let's call that carbon monoxide. Right? Hydrogen, we said we've got 0.24 moles, so let's double click on that. The pressure, we can change that to bar. As we said, we're working with bars. And what we have here is 1 bar. So about that, let's go back. Come on. Let's just, we're working with 1 bar. And these streams are coming in at 298.15 Kelvin, 25 degrees. We do not have any methane as yet. We're still going to form that. Methane, we don't have that. Propane, we don't have that as yet. Water, we don't have that as yet. Carbon monoxide is on the other stream, and it should automatically see 1 of that. And we have 0.24, and we had it in kilomoles per second. So we can change that to kilomoles per second. This stream is now fully defined. It should even tell you whether it's a vapor or a gas. Next, let's go to your carbon monoxide. Again, we said we are starting off at 1 bar, 298 Kelvin. Again, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And then our kilomoles for, let's say, was 0.11, or carbon monoxide, sorry. Then next, we go to our compressors. We have to specify them. So with your compressor, when you go edit, you can do a pressure increase, right? It's a compressor, by the way. So let's do pressure increase instead of outlet pressure. We want it to come out at 3 bars, so it's going to increase by 200,000 pascals, right? Then efficiency, as you can see, it's already specified an isentropic efficiency of 0.75, which is standard for the system. Then we're going to do the same as well on our other compressor. This one, let's specify outlet pressure just to spice things up. This one will be 3 bar, which is 300,000 pascals. Let's make sure that's what we have. Yes, it is. Then we go into our mixer. Nothing needs to be changed here. It's fully specified. Yeah, this one comes fully specified. You don't need to do much on it. Done. Then next we're gonna go to our heater. So let's edit that. And we said we want an outlet temperature of, let's go to our reaction temperature, 583.15 Kelvin. 583.15 Kelvin. I'm going to skip the reactor for now because that's where the fun part is. We're going to come back to it quite shortly. I just want to specify everything else so that once we're done with the reactor, we just run in the system. We said we're going to drop this one back to 298 Kelvin. Our flash diagram, um, we're just gonna allow it to do its thing. We're not gonna change anything on the flash diagram. We're not gonna specify anything. We're just gonna let it run as it is. Our column we've already specified. Let's just specify that it's going to be fed with water at 3 bar. As you saw across the process, I was not changing any, I was not dropping any pressure. So assuming the system has a zero pressure drop, which is not going to happen in real life. It's just that I wanted us to go through our process quite quickly. So this is going to be just water. And let's assume we're going to have about 0.2 millimoles of water. Right? As you see, it's already saying it's liquid. So now, as you can see, our system is not yet fully specified. That's why we are not able to solve. If you see up here that it's full gray, it's telling you that you still need to put in additional information. Now for the reactor, we need to specify the reactions that are going to be happening here. Again, you go back to configure flowsheet, reaction packages. Then you hit add. Let's go for forgot what my system is using. I hope this is the correct one. The auto reaction package. And let's hit new. Here's our system. It seems to have come into the wrong one. It shouldn't do that. Okay, let's go through what it's asking us to do so that we can go to the right one. Let's do conf. Oh, yes, that's the correct one. Conf reaction package. So we've got a new reaction package right there. We click on that and say edit. Let's call it our June 16, for example. It's our youth day FT example. Then we're gonna go to compounds and you click add, and you see from material template. This is because you've already put in your components there. Hit OK. And then we're going to reactions. So this is the fun part. Reactions. Now you're going to need to add each reaction manually. So what's our first reaction? I had them written out somewhere so that I don't have to keep going back to the spreadsheet. There we go. So we did the first 3 reactions. So let's go. Reaction 1. Reaction 1. So let's go back to the stoichiometry now, right? So that you understand exactly what's happening here, right? So for reaction 1, 3 hydrogens plus 1 carbon monoxide reacts to form 1 methane and 1 water, right? When you're deciding a reaction, right, it means that minus 3 hydrogens minus 1 carbon monoxide forms 1 methane plus 1 hydrogen. So the way you specify this on CoCo is you would go to hydrogen and you would say minus 3 hydrogens, literally, right? And then you'd say minus 1 carbon monoxide, as I put it there, will form 1 methane plus 1 water, right? Now I'm going to specify this as an equilibrium reaction, which means that your system will be treating this reaction as if it's going to equilibrium, right? Um, Look up equilibrium reactions, but basically that what it says is if this is nature, this is the maximum conversion it could go up to. And then obviously we will specify the conversion. Next, we're going to do reaction 2. Reaction 2. Again, reaction 2, minus 5 hydrogens minus 2 carbon monoxides form one ethane plus 2 waters. So minus 5 hydrogens, right, minus 2 carbon monoxides form 1 ethane and 2 waters. Again, equilibrium reaction. And then let's go to the vapor phase and then create the last one, which is our reaction 3. And then that will be minus 7 hydrogens minus 3 carbon monoxides forms 1 propane and 3 waters. All right. Now we will need to, because now we're only working with 3 of these guys, the first 3 reactions, let's spice things up a bit by putting those at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? And then I'm supposed to update those to 0, 0, 0, 0. And then let's share our selectivity up here. Come on now. Hopefully this will help explain what's happening here. So in this particular example, we're told that the selectivity to methane is 25%. Selectivity to ethane is 35%. And then the balance is to propane, right? So now then this gives us our conversions. 13%, 19%, and 20%. This should all sum up to your overall conversion. Then we define the reactor. As you can see, we're not yet ready to go. We still need to assign the reaction package. So now, if you right click on the reactor, you'll see here it says assign reaction package. June 16th example, there you go. This is already loaded on the system. So I hope we're all excited to see this run. The beauty of doing simulations like this, and I remember when I was doing my beta project, my simulation was big, and I was doing it on CAD. And I remember there was a time where I would like some of the things I was guessing on how to run them, it would get stuck, and you'd be just waiting there for 3 hours for it to get unstuck. This is not usually the case. What is going on? This should have given us the screen we're waiting for by now. I do not know why it's taking so long. Let's go back again. Assign the action package. There we go. Okay. And then let's edit. Okay, we want it to happen at we set our reaction temperature is 583.15. So as a family has 83.15. And then our reactions, we're going to have to add them one by one. So first of all, reaction one, what conversion did we say we have? We said we have a conversion of 0.1375, so we can copy that. There's our conversion, 0.1375, and let's just put it as a converting carbon monoxide. So our first conversion is added. Second one, reaction 2. We said our conversion is 0.1925, 0.1925, again carbon monoxide. And then lastly, reaction 3 brings us to conversion of 22% for reaction 3. And again, we are converting carbon monoxide. Oh, that needs to be that comma. And let's put them as serial reactions. And hopefully now your system will say I'm ready to run. As you can see, your run icon is now green. It means green means you are good to go, and we can hit run. Oh, we are creating negative concentrations, and I think the reason for that is because, let's go back to our mass balance here. Conversion is 55%. We said 0.24 and 0.11. So that is fine. Why are we causing negative conversions here? We shouldn't be causing negative. NCO 0.11 millimoles per second. There's our problem. It's supposed to be 0.24, not 0.24. That's our problem. Let's go back to our flow sheet. Let's reset everything and run that again. You shouldn't be facing that problem. As you saw, the challenge was the fact that there was too little hydrogen in the system. So stoichiometrically, that didn't work. Too little hydrogen, and we expected this thing to run like a charm. Funny, hey? And now it's still busy trying to figure out our column there. Hopefully that goes through the same time around. We don't have to come back and solve it over and over again. Okay, it looks like we've got some activity and we're done. Done with some errors. You can go through the errors, try and fix them, but most of the time you find that it's more things like maybe, for example, here temperature deviation too high. Your column will say something like maybe not enough temperature out of range for liquid viscosity calculations. You can adjust this by looking at the range and making sure that you work within that. But for now, I just want us to do a stream report. So insert stream report. Okay. Those two most definitely. I just want to see what other streams we should take. I'm not able to go back there. I didn't want to take everything. And the reason for this is it gets a bit confusing once you take everything. And then let's look at what properties it's giving us. It's giving us pressure, temperature, flow, and composition, which is mainly what you need for the purposes of your mass balance. And then if we now come down and look at our mass balance table, you will see that um, initially we had each stream was individual, right? And then we got to a point where it was mixed, right? This is where now you're getting your 70 to 30 ratio, right? And then we went in, and then after 37 we got the reaction, and this is according to what we specified. As you can see, the outlet stream at about 43% hydrogen left and 23%, and then those are your form products. And then let's look at stream 9. Stream 9 is showing that it's going to have so your total moles are 0.24, and then in this case, stream 9, if it's at 298 degrees, your outlet stream 9 will have about 0.048 moles, and this will be the composition, but as you can see, it's mainly water. So you've literally knocked out 0.048 kilomoles per second of water by just doing this, right? Because mainly, as you can see, it's water, right? And then stream 10, which is the bulk of the stream, will still have a high amount of hydrogen and carbon monoxide, but most of your hydrocarbons will be here. And then again, stream 13, it is, let's just look here, what do we have? We have stream 12 and stream 13. Now, stream 12, it's your gaseous stream, where you have, looks like so you've got 0.2, it's leaving us a lot of light. So these are too light. As you can see, even if you add water to this, your hydrocarbons are still all reporting to stream 3, to stream 13. So nothing much is happening here. However, if we go back to my example here, you'll see that after mixing with water, your heavy hydrocarbons are actually absorbed. So the stream, which in my case would be stream 16, can speak to very, very low concentrations of your light hydrocarbons, but your heavier hydrocarbons now report to stream 16, whereas stream 17, which is stream 17, stream 15, which is the gas, has a higher concentration of your light stuff. As you can see, it reports more hydrogen, more of your ethanes, your methane, ethane, so more of that report to your top product. So yes, that's our simulation. Hopefully, I hope I was not moving too fast. Again, the whole purpose of this is to be able to show you how to set this thing up. I went for something that was a bit challenging, so that you see how to set up multiple reactions on your fixed converter. Let me just show you the reactions that I have on mine, because this table is much bigger. By the way, in practice, I mean, your FT simulation has way more compounds than you can see here. So it takes time to set up, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. And then let me just show you the reactions we have in this one. As you can see, got multiple reactions, 1 to 10, with different conversion ranges. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I am here to help. As I said, my team is growing, which is very exciting news that I'd like to announce. I've got two guys whom I went to varsity with. One was when I was still at vet. I obviously will let you know that these ones are fully on board. And then the other one I went to varsity with at UJ. And the great thing, the reason why I'm excited about them joining the team is the one guy has a lot of industrial experience. So what he brings with him um, is his experience in industry, the companies that he's been exposed to, job opportunities for those of you who do not have an idea where to go to. And these are unorthodox plans. These are not your usual plans that people know. These are small companies, medium-sized design companies that he's been exposed to, that he'll be introducing us to. And then the other friend that we have has been in academia. Last year was doing his master's, and now he's going into PhD. And obviously, what he brings to the table will be more academic related. So I'm very excited about this, and I hope these videos will bring value and make your BTech much easier to acquire and much more enjoyable. But ultimately, what we want to do is help create great engineers in the industry. Um, let's not be the kind of engineers who wait for instructions, but let's be the kind of engineers who understand exactly what's happening so that we can be proactive and help add value to our companies. And once you add value to your company, you are indirectly adding value to yourself because you'll be valued more, you'll be paid higher. Let's not always think about pay, but that's the truth. Your value in terms of paycheck increases with the amount of value you can give to the company. So thank you for your time. Enjoy the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Again, should you need personal help, please do send an email. I will put it at the bottom of this, at the link below this video as well. Enjoy. Have a good one.